Hey guys, welcome back to Susie Makes It. In this video, we're gonna be finishing up the shed move, and that means tackling the roof installation, flashing on the roof, waterproofing the base, and also the most fun of all, decorating the area. So let me show you how I figured it all out, share some tips along the way, and see how it finally ends up looking. Let's get started. So these are the pieces in the back that were not letting me put the drip edge over here. So I'm cutting them off, and I started with my circular saw, guys, but this is so dangerous to do when you're up in the air and on a ladder. So you gotta know your tools, and I have my Japanese saw here, so this is gonna help me. I just need to move it forward so that I can reach better. But when you do this, even me here far away, this one cuts really well and fast, so you don't have to stress out about trying to cut something like that. So I'm putting on my gloves over here, cutting, moving forward the ladder, and that way we can cut off this one, and also form here nicely so that we don't have this sticking out. Plus I will be putting a little bit more of the caulking, because as you can see, this one dried, and so it's leaving like a little gap, and so I want to fill everything so there's no water coming through any of these openings. And the sky is beautiful. Also, cutting with this saw gives me the advantage to go really flush to the roof right here, and so as you can tell, you can go with the angle of the roof, and you can have that in your beam right here. I didn't do that with the circular saw. I couldn't do that, but as you can tell, this one, it's at an angle, so that's gonna be really cool. Okay, and here is another tip. Here I had a gap, and actually right here there's a huge gap because this beam was not correctly put. It should have been more inwards. I already put everything on. I'm not gonna undo everything that I did just because of this. So for this, I did something similar to what you would do for when you caulk the cement and the gaps in the cracks. I found some of this, which was part of some tools that came somewhere, and so I'm just cutting this. This is a type of foam, as you can tell. I stuck it in here as much as possible, and what I'm gonna do is just go over it with the caulking. That should be good. Now for this, I'm gonna have to correct it some other way, but for gaps like this that are huge, don't just stuff it with all the caulking that you have, because that's not gonna work out. Just try to stuff it with foam, even with the foam that you have for the windows when you want to close the air gaps. And but this one is something that I had at hand. So now I'm just gonna go over this whole thing with my caulking and fill out just the top of it. So that should work out. And I did the rest of the caulking all along that I needed to fill all the gaps, and I also filled the gaps up here. I'm gonna have to finish there, and all along those beams, so that if water ever comes through, it's not gonna go in or try to get in. So everything's nice and sealed. I'll finish sealing there and finish sealing over here, and also finish painting, but that's gonna be later when all of this dries out. But look at the beautiful sky. I'm gonna turn it around so you can see how beautiful it is. Beautiful California skies. I didn't want to lose momentum, so I worked right into the nighttime and I started putting the felt that goes on top of the roof. And this is very important because that's a barrier in between your shingles and your base material, which is the OSB in this case. I only had enough material of the felt to cover partially, so I spoke to a friend of my dad's who's in construction, and he said that you could use a couple of sheets on top as well from the material that you use for bathrooms. And I had almost half a roll left over from the previous projects that I've done in bathrooms from the Madonna house, and I know that's not what it's supposed to have, but it is a vapor barrier, and I think it's gonna work out just as well. All right, guys, so it is Sunday and it's an overcast but sunny day. It's a mixture, and let me just tell you that I saw that there's gonna be a storm watch in this area and all of California, southern California, and 90% of the time I don't believe in the forecasts, but then I wake up to rain, drizzle, everything. And so this time I'm gonna believe it because it's kind of overcast and weird, sunny sunny day. And so we're gonna finish the roof right now, and that's the main goal, so that we can have a beautiful place to reveal for you guys and that we can also enjoy as well. So let's go ahead and just finish this. And this is what I'm talking about. It's sunny, but it feels muggy, and look at those clouds. We don't really have that many clouds here in California. So here's the current state of the roof. It kind of like curled a little bit, maybe because of the fact that it's a little bit humid. So I'm just gonna start layering those shingles, and I'm gonna get out my new shingles, the ones that I have to replace with the ones that broke off. So I just want to start by saying that this is not the traditional way of doing the shingles by any means, and I'm not an expert, but I did watch about 1,000 videos on how to do it properly. So there is some method to this madness that I'm doing. What I did, because of the material that I was reusing, and I had strips of the shingles, I used those, but I layered them going upward from the bottom that you see there, how I started going upward. By the way, these are all starter shingles, if you can tell, and I'll tell you later why. So here I was just trying to make sense of the layers that I was putting on and tacking everything with roofing nails. Here I was finishing the end of the roof, and I would just get a piece of shingle and cut it to the size that I needed it, and then tacked it at the very top, as you can see there. Then I had another layer coming in because, as you remember, I had the strips of shingles and I was not doing it individually. So I would come in with the next layer and then cut again my end. This was the most difficult thing that I had to do in this shed because I had to piece together everything. I was using those strips of shingles that were already used and trying to get in the new shingles, repairing the ones that were damaged. But I was able to get all the way to the top. I needed to put a flashing on top of the very last layer of shingles. The rest of the flashing was put underneath, but this one needed to go on top to waterproof the top of the roof. Okay guys, so what I did here, just wanted to show you, I'm doing my own little piece of flashing. So I'm just bending it. First I cut it the length that I needed it, and then I'm just bending it. This is even bigger than the flashing that I have. But then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut along. And once I cut along, then I'm gonna do a little pleat over here at the end, where it's gonna resemble the actual flashing, where it has a little curve at the end so that the water can drop out away from the structure. For installing the flashing, I went in with the mastic or the roof leak repair, and anything that was exposed, nails, little holes, anything, I would just put a little dollop of that material on top so that I could waterproof. I also had some shingles hanging from the very end because I had left them like that to just be able to go back and cut them off at the very end. I continued the waterproofing at the bottom part of the roof because I had only been able to go halfway. So I was just checking on things that were loose, and then the final inspection came. Hey guys, so we're here almost at ground level because that's where we're gonna be doing our last project, which is gonna be doing the flashing. So I grabbed this roll of aluminum. It's flashing. It's better and cheaper than buying the actual flashing that's already straight. It's the big long strips that they sell at the home department store. This is a tip for you guys. Buy the roll, and you can cut it to whatever length you want, and you can also haul it in your car way easier than trying to fit a 10-foot, or I don't know how long those are, in your car. Not gonna be fun. So I did cut my flashing for the top of the roof, and this is the offcut. So I'm gonna use the offcut to be putting the flash. As you remember, if you haven't seen that video, it's gonna be up here. But we did the base, and on the base we did a metal cloth with little tiny squares. So it's a metal cloth, and that's gonna prevent, hopefully, in my mind, it's gonna prevent like rats or anything like that, which is very unlikely. This thing is super heavy. There's no way they're gonna get through there, right? So that's one of the things we were freaking out about, but I think we're gonna be fine. On top of that, we're gonna do the flashing, which is gonna go here. Not exactly the height of the toe kick, but I'm just gonna leave it because it's the offcut, and I just want to use this. I'll probably use it on the sides, and then the front I'll cut it to the exact height. But just to show you, it's here. And then what I'm gonna be using this self-leveling sealant, which is for concrete. And that's gonna be that, and I think we're really almost there, guys. So I promise. I'm just gonna do some cleaning after this. I already painted, did the fences. As you can tell, the fence right here looks super nice. And so I did a bunch of other little surprise changes just to spruce up the patio, and that we can finish this area, and hopefully we can continue on with the rest of the house. So let's go ahead and finish this. I'll show you how to do this. I'm gonna measure my height, overall height here for the toe kick, which is really just, you really have to get on the floor, guys. So use knee pads if you need to. So this is about 3.5 inches height, and that's what I'm gonna cut. And then I just need my length. Ooh, sorry, this is gonna be for the sides. 3.5 by 75 inches is what I'm gonna be cutting. You're gonna want to use your gloves. So this unravels completely. I put the little stool there, and the roll is behind it, and I can roll out the length that I need. So I need 75 inches, right? I marked it right here with my permanent marker. Today I don't have a ruler, so I'm just gonna mark it here with this. Just to have a line where I can reference. I don't know if you can tell the line. Kind of faint. So be careful, use your gloves always, and then when you're cutting metal like this, always try to hold the part that you already cut and lift it so that your scissor can go in freely and you don't have to struggle. So always lifting. I'm not having to struggle with the scissor. And then I can just put this away. Now I need to measure 3 inches height. 3.5. And then I'll mark it later with a long ruler. And then I think I need my ruler. Where's my ruler now? I'm doing this the hard way, guys. Don't do it the hard way. I used that piece of wood so that it would put some weight on the flashing and it wouldn't curl up on me, and it worked out great. I installed the flashing by using my stapler, and that helped attach it really well. Okay guys, so honestly I don't think this type of caulking is the one that I needed for here, but I'm gonna make it work. It's mostly to fill gaps like this so that you don't have to broom inside those gaps or for cracks. And that's the main reason why I bought it, but I thought, oh, I can seal in between the concrete and the metal there. So I think it's gonna work, but it's not exactly what it's for. One more recommendation is once this starts to cure, it's about 30 minutes, just touch the material here. For example, let's see here, if it's starting to not get too tacky, if it's not as liquid as it is when you pour, then you can start taking off your tape. That way you're able to get a nice line. And then last but not least, I'm gonna be putting this cedar post. Is gonna be used as a toe kick all along here and on the other side. I also have to do the flashing outside because that's the most important, but right now the sun is super scorching, so I'm gonna do that for later in the day. But it's gonna be the same process. I definitely need to go get a shower, guys, because I am sticky. It's been so hot today. I think today was the hottest day of all of July, and you can tell. I even sweat. What's a past of sweat? I sweated. No, I sweat behind my ears when I had the earmuffs. That was kind of crazy. I have never done that. And my body has never done something like that. So too much information, maybe TMI. But anyways, I'm just gonna be doing like a nice cut of the flowers and try to make it pretty for you guys so that you can get some inspiration, get some ideas. And definitely wanted to say that this whole shed thing was a surprise, not planned, and it was actually at one point a burden. And when I did the roof, that was the hardest thing I've ever done, roofing. Probably because also the roof was already torn apart, and then I was trying to use those pieces that were old, but the guy had done it only with the starter shingles. And then I talked to my mom and I'm like, Mom, those are all like starter shingles. What's up with that? And at that time had gone out of a surgery, and so I didn't know anything about what happened there when he did it. And apparently the starter shingles are cheaper, but you know, in the end, he ended up doing it all with starter shingles. So he had like 4 layers of shingles there. I don't know what's going on. I want to say that even though this was a burden at one point, it kind of like became a blessing in the end, because it opened up a totally new layout for the patio, which I kind of had thought about before, but this was done back then and I didn't have much say in it. And so right now I wanted to have a greenhouse here. Wouldn't that be beautiful to have a greenhouse? To have all my starter plants and all my seedlings, all that stuff, dreams. But here's the tool shed, and I'm gonna show you the organization that I did kind of at another video. Yeah, so basically how Romans says, Romans 8:28, what for God's children, things that might be harmful, in the end they will be a blessing. And I'm just paraphrasing, it's kind of like the idea, but it's so true, because right now this was a burden and it was I was not happy about doing this. It's backing me up in all the other things that I needed to do, but in the end it's opened up this whole new area, and I'm excited about it now and sharing it with you guys as well. So thank you so much for your support. Thank you for liking, for subscribing, for commenting. It really has helped my channel so much. I just ask you to keep doing it. It's completely free. So it's just giving you my ideas of how I problem solve things. If you have a house and you're trying to make it pretty and, you know, facing challenges that are thrown at you sometimes. So I hope this really helps you, and thank you so much. I'm just gonna, you know, finish doing the patio here, and I'll show you how it ends up. But thank you so much for watching. Keep watching until the end, because it really helps my channel, as I was telling you. But thank you so much. I love you guys. God bless you, and thank you for all the suggestions, because I have used them and you've seen that in this video. Till next time, bye. Okay, so I'm trying to make this space, at least this little space right here, to be nice and finished for the reveal. As you can tell, here we had a planter, so I'm gonna be moving around some pots and seeing what looks better and the best. And then I just put up the lights up again, because they were undone, unplugged for the longest time. I started cleaning up everything and cutting, just pruning, making it all nice. And then I moved on to the back. This is the green belt here in our back of the patio. This is from the mobile home park, but I went rogue and I planted some of these succulents. These are foxtail, agaves, and some other succulents, and they don't need that much water. I'll just water them for the first few weeks, and from there they just take off. They don't need any more maintenance from anyone. Para comprar